One made your grandmother a gamer, the other let you play a quick game during halftime. We're talking about the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo Switch, two titans of gaming, two earth-shattering successes that couldn't be more different. The Wii was a flash of lightning, a cultural moment that completely changed who played games and why. The Switch was more of a slow, seismic shift, a console that redefined where and when gaming could even happen. They're two of Nintendo's greatest triumphs, but they represent two totally different kinds of revolutions. I was there for both, and for years I've debated, with friends, with family, and mostly with myself, which one truly left the bigger mark on the world of gaming. Today, we're settling it. We're going to dissect their origins, their golden years, and their legacies to answer one question: which console had a bigger impact on gaming? To really get the Wii, you have to picture the world it was born into. It's 2004 and Nintendo is in a tight spot. The GameCube, as much as we love it now, was getting crushed by the PlayStation 2 and Microsoft's new kid on the block, the Xbox. In an era chasing cinematic HD adult-oriented games, Nintendo was seen as the kiddie console, so they decided to stop playing the same game. At E3, Nintendo's then-president Satoru Iwata teased a gaming revolution. The plan wasn't to build a more powerful box, it was to change the experience entirely. This led to the codename Revolution, which became the Wii, and its controller was just bizarre. It looked like a TV remote with a nunchuck dangling off it. Hardcore gamers were skeptical, and a lot of them were openly mocking it. But Nintendo wasn't just aiming for hardcore gamers anymore. They were aiming for everyone else. On November 19, 2006, the revolution began. The key wasn't just the weird controller, it was the game that came packed right in the box: Wii Sports. This was Nintendo's masterstroke. The graphics were simple, but its impact was monumental. The magic was its simplicity. You didn't need to learn complex button combos. To play tennis, you swung the remote. To bowl, you mimicked throwing a ball. It was just intuitive. Suddenly, gaming wasn't stuck in the basement anymore. It exploded into the living room. News channels were running stories about the release of the Nintendo Wii and how hard was it to find one. Families who'd never touched a controller were now locked in fierce virtual tennis matches. It shattered the stereotype of the lazy gamer, convincing millions that gaming could be an active, social, family event. The Wii became a true cultural phenomenon, outselling the more powerful Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 for years. This explosion was followed by a golden era. Nintendo proved motion controls weren't just for sports, giving us masterpieces like Super Mario Galaxy and Metroid Prime 3. We saw brilliant third-party games like Resident Evil 4 and the stylish chaos of Okami. Then came the Wii Fit and its balance board, turning fitness into a game and cementing the Wii's place in mainstream homes. For a while there, Nintendo wasn't just a gaming company. They were a lifestyle brand that had cracked a code nobody else could. But that fire couldn't burn forever. The very thing that made the Wii a hit also became its weakness. The market was flooded with cheap, low-effort third-party games, the infamous shovelware, trying to cash in on the motion control fad. For core gamers, the waggle started feeling less like an innovation and more like a gimmick. As Sony and Microsoft pushed into the HD era, the Wii's standard-definition graphics looked ancient. Big-name third-party developers moved on, and the Wii was once again seen as a console just for kids and casuals. By the time it was discontinued, the Wii had sold a staggering 102 million units, making it one of the best-selling consoles ever. Its legacy was clear. It proved that innovative ideas could beat raw power and single-handedly expanded the gaming audience. The impact was immediate and huge, but the question was, would it last? Now, to understand the Switch, you have to talk about the disaster that came before it, the Wii U. After the roaring success of the Wii, Nintendo fumbled hard. Launched in 2012, the Wii U was a marketing nightmare. Was it a new console or a Wii add-on? The main hook, a tablet controller for second-screen gaming, was confusing and poorly supported. The console sold a disastrous 14 million units in its entire lifetime. The pressure was on. Nintendo's next console didn't just need to be a hit, it had to be a masterpiece that could save the company's reputation. Then, in October 2016, the world saw the first trailer for the Nintendo Switch. The message was instant, clear, and brilliant. A guy is playing Zelda Breath of the Wild on his TV. He gets up, slides the controllers onto a small screen, and with that oh-so-satisfying click, he takes the exact same game with him on the go. It wasn't about a gimmick. It was about solving a real problem, how to fit epic console games into a busy life. It was a hybrid, the best of both worlds, and it just clicked with people. On March 3, 2017, the Switch launched, and it had what might be the greatest launch year in video game history. It didn't just have a killer app, it launched with a game that would define a generation. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. This wasn't just another great game, it was a cultural event, a masterpiece that players and critics called one of the best games ever made. And you could play it anywhere. But Nintendo didn't stop. That same year gave us Super Mario Odyssey, another Game of the Year contender. They launched Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which became the system's best-selling game. They kicked off new franchises with Splatoon 2 and ARMS. It was just a relentless storm of incredible first-party games that built unstoppable momentum. And where the Wii's fire burned bright and fast, the Switches just kept growing. It did something Nintendo had always struggled with. It truly embraced indie developers. The Switch became a paradise for small studios. Its portable nature was the perfect home for games that were blowing up on PC. Titles like Hollow Knight, Stardew Valley, Celeste, and Hades found huge new audiences. Nintendo even promoted these nindies, giving them the spotlight in their presentations. This created a rich, diverse library that kept a steady stream of amazing games flowing between Nintendo's own blockbusters. Years after launch, the Switch kept smashing sales records, soaring past the Wii to sell over 141 million units. That makes it Nintendo's best-selling home console ever, and their second best-selling piece of hardware overall, right behind the Nintendo DS family. It became a cultural touchstone during the 2020 pandemic with Animal Crossing: New Horizons, a game that gave us all a sense of community when we needed it most. The Switch's impact wasn't a flash in the pan. It was a long, sustained burn that proved a great concept and an incredible library of games matter more than cutting-edge graphics. It's clear both of these consoles are legends, each defining an era of gaming in its own way. They show Nintendo at its most daring and brilliant. And if you love digging into gaming history and the debates that define it, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing because we're always exploring the stories behind the games we love, and you won't want to miss what's next. So, two revolutionary consoles. But which one had the bigger impact? To figure this out, let's compare them on three key fronts: cultural impact, industry impact, and the lasting power of their games. First up, cultural impact. And honestly, this is the Wii's strongest case. The Wii fundamentally changed how society saw video games. It tore down the wall between gamer and non-gamer, bringing in people the industry had ignored for decades: parents, grandparents, you name it. The Wii made gaming a mainstream family activity. It was a party starter. The Switch, while wildly popular, didn't create a new audience in the same way. Its impact was more about changing how and where the massive existing gaming audience plays. It made gaming a normal, portable, everyday thing, something you do on the train or on your lunch break. While the Wii broke down the walls and invited everyone in, the Switch redesigned the house for the people already living there. Okay, what about the industry itself? The Wii's motion controls were a massive disruption. They sent Sony and Microsoft scrambling to make their own versions, the PlayStation Move and the Xbox Kinect. For a hot minute, it really seemed like motion control was the future, but ultimately they couldn't replicate Nintendo's magic, and the industry mostly moved on. The Wii's disruption was powerful, but it was temporary. The Switch's impact, however, has been slower, deeper, and feels far more permanent. That hybrid design wasn't a gimmick. It was a genuine game-changer that has influenced the entire market. The Switch's success directly paved the way for handheld PCs like the Steam Deck, proving that a device that blends power and portability is incredibly desirable. On top of that, its role as an indie powerhouse created a sustainable new market for smaller developers, making the whole gaming ecosystem richer and more diverse. While the Wii forced competitors to copy a trend, the Switch forced them to rethink what a console could even be. And finally, we have to talk about the games. The Wii has some of the most iconic games ever made: Wii Sports, Super Mario Galaxy, Twilight Princess. These are unforgettable. But let's be real, the Wii's library is also famous for being watered down by an ocean of shovelware. Its legacy is a mix of transcendent masterpieces and a ton of forgettable mini-game collections. The Switch, on the other hand, has one of the most consistently excellent and diverse game libraries of all time. It has Nintendo's monumental releases like Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey, It has strong third-party support. And crucially, it has that thriving, massive library of indie classics that have defined a generation of developers. From huge RPGs to tiny, perfect platformers, the sheer quality and variety on the Switch is just staggering. So where do we land? The Wii was a cultural earthquake. It was a brilliant, explosive machine that invited the entire world to come and play. Its impact was felt in living rooms and retirement homes, and it forever changed who a gamer could be. It was a revolution in accessibility. The Switch was a different kind of revolution, a revolution in versatility. It didn't just invite more people to play, it changed the entire relationship gamers have with their hobby, weaving it seamlessly into every part of their lives. Its impact wasn't just cultural, it was industrial, reshaping hardware design and creating a new home for creative developers. While the Wii's cultural flashpoint was brighter and more sudden, the Switch's impact feels broader and more permanent. The Wii changed how people saw gaming for a time, but the industry eventually moved on. The Switch changed the very way we game, and its hybrid DNA is now embedded in the future of the industry. It didn't just save Nintendo, it set a new standard for what a gaming platform could be, all while building one of the greatest software libraries in history. For that reason, while the Wii's revolution was an unforgettable moment, the Switch's revolution had the bigger, more lasting impact on gaming. But that's my take. Which console had a bigger impact on your life? Did the Wii get your family playing together for the first time? Or did the Switch completely change the way you game forever? Let me know in the comments below.